Most people think strokes strike without warning, a sudden event, a bolt from the blue. But the truth is, your daily habits are either protecting your brain or putting it at serious risk. Every time you reach for certain foods, skip movement, ignore your pressure, or pop pain relievers casually, you're either closing off blood vessels or helping them stay open. This video isn't to scare you, it's to empower you. Because stroke is preventable, and the first step is awareness. For many of us, pain relievers have become part of daily life. They're easy to find, quick to take, and often bring fast relief, especially as we age and deal with aching joints, lingering injuries, or morning stiffness. But what few people realize is that over-the-counter painkillers, particularly NSAIDs like ibuprofen and naproxen, carry hidden risks that grow more serious with time and age. While these medications are helpful in small doses and short-term use, regularly relying on them, especially without medical supervision, can quietly damage your cardiovascular system. NSAIDs have been shown to raise blood pressure, even in people who previously had normal readings. That's alarming because high blood pressure is the single most common cause of stroke. Additionally, some NSAIDs may increase the risk of blood clots or interfere with how platelets work, especially when combined with aspirin or other medications, making them particularly risky for people already dealing with conditions like diabetes or heart disease. One of the most misunderstood habits is taking low-dose aspirin, often recommended by doctors to prevent clots, while also taking NSAIDs like ibuprofen. Many believe they're doubling their protection, when in fact they may be canceling out aspirin's benefits or even causing harm. These aren't decisions we should be making on our own. One of the most important steps you can take is to tell your doctor about every medication you're using, including the ones you didn't get a prescription for. Never assume something is safe just because it's sold without one. Ask questions. Be honest. Because stroke prevention doesn't begin with the moment something goes wrong, it begins with the quiet choices we make every day, including the pills we reach for without thinking. Processed foods have become part of modern life. They're easy, convenient, and familiar. A microwaved meal after a long day, deli meats for a quick sandwich, a canned soup on a cold night. For many older adults living alone or cooking for one, these choices feel practical. But beneath the comfort lies a danger that builds with every bite. Most of these foods are packed with ingredients your brain doesn't want: sodium, trans fats, added sugars, and artificial additives. These substances might not cause immediate symptoms, but over time, they create a perfect storm inside your arteries. Too much salt causes your body to retain water, raising blood pressure, the #1 driver of strokes. Trans fats, found in many processed baked goods and fried snacks, raise bad cholesterol and lower the good kind that protects your blood vessels. The result? Hardened, narrowed arteries that restrict blood flow to the brain. Added sugars make things worse. They contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes, all of which further increase your stroke risk. At the same time, processed foods are often stripped of essential nutrients like potassium, magnesium, and fiber, all of which help keep your heart and brain healthy. And when these empty foods become a habit, they lead to chronic inflammation, a hidden process linked directly to heart disease and stroke. Making better food choices doesn't mean perfection. It starts with small steps, replacing one processed meal a day with something fresh, choosing whole grains instead of white bread, using herbs instead of salt. Your next meal can either inflame your arteries or heal them. It's a quiet decision, but one that speaks volumes to your brain. High blood pressure is one of the most dangerous medical conditions, precisely because it rarely causes pain. Many people walk around with numbers well beyond normal, yet feel completely fine. And that's exactly why it's called the silent killer. It works slowly, quietly, placing relentless pressure on your arteries every day without a single warning sign. Over time, this constant force begins to change your body from the inside out. The walls of your arteries become stiffer, narrower, and more brittle. Plaque begins to form inside, making it harder for blood to flow freely. If one of these plaques ruptures, a clot can form and block blood supply to part of your brain, leading to an ischemic stroke. In other cases, the pressure may simply become too much for a weakened vessel to handle. The result is a hemorrhagic stroke, where a brain vessel bursts and causes internal bleeding. Both can be devastating, and both often begin with a blood pressure reading ignored for too long. The tragedy is that most of this is preventable. Eating a diet low in sodium, trans fats, and saturated fats, such as the DASH diet many doctors recommend, can lower blood pressure naturally over time. Regular physical activity, stress reduction, maintaining a healthy weight, and avoiding tobacco or excessive alcohol are all proven steps that help the body regulate pressure more effectively. And if your doctor prescribes medication, consistency is crucial. Skipping doses or stopping treatment because you feel fine can undo months of progress and leave your brain vulnerable. Checking your blood pressure doesn't take much time, but it can buy you years of life, clarity, and independence. Your brain needs steady, healthy blood flow to function, and every step you take today helps ensure that continues tomorrow. Many people think of diabetes as a sugar issue, something tied to desserts, soft drinks, and an occasional sweet tooth. But the real danger lies not in indulgence alone, but in how high blood sugar quietly and steadily injures your body from the inside, especially the delicate vessels that feed your brain. The damage builds over years, often without symptoms, until one day, a stroke steals everything. When glucose levels stay elevated for long periods, your blood vessels begin to stiffen and thicken. The walls grow narrow, less flexible, and more prone to plaque buildup. Blood flow becomes restricted, a condition known as atherosclerosis, and with it, the oxygen and nutrients your brain needs begin to falter. If a clot forms and blocks one of these already narrowed vessels, the result is often an ischemic stroke. If the weakened vessel bursts, it may cause a hemorrhagic stroke, both equally devastating. Diabetes doesn't usually come alone. It walks hand in hand with high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, and excess weight, a dangerous combination that multiplies stroke risk significantly. According to the American Stroke Association, people with diabetes have a 1.5 times higher chance of stroke than those without it. Managing diabetes isn't about fear. It's about focus on whole grains, leafy greens, beans, and clean proteins. It's about checking your blood sugar, even when you feel fine, and speaking with your doctor about your A1C. Your brain needs steady, clean fuel, and the sooner you start giving it that, the longer and better it will serve you. Many people in their 60s and 70s believe slowing down is just a natural part of aging, and in many ways it is. But there's a difference between taking well-earned rest and letting your body fall into stillness. The truth is, when we stop moving, the systems designed to protect our brain begin to weaken. Stroke doesn't just come from one dramatic event. It builds from small, quiet choices, and a sedentary lifestyle is one of the most overlooked threats. Without regular physical activity, your body becomes more vulnerable to nearly every major stroke risk. Weight gain puts more strain on your blood vessels, blood pressure begins to climb, cholesterol patterns shift in the wrong direction, and your body's ability to manage sugar declines. All of these, obesity, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, are well-established contributors to stroke, and inactivity links them together like a thread. You don't need to run marathons, but the body needs movement daily. Take the stairs, walk after dinner, stretch in the morning. Even 15 minutes of gardening or housework makes a difference. Your goal isn't perfection or performance, it's circulation. Movement keeps blood flowing freely to your brain, nourishing memory, clarity, and life itself. If any of these habits sound familiar, please know it's not too late. You don't need to change everything overnight, but you do need to start. Each step you take, checking your pressure, cooking one fresh meal, asking your doctor the hard questions, is a message to your brain. I'm not giving up. Stroke may seem sudden, but it builds slowly, over time, from choices we can change. And that means we still have power, real, life-saving power. So be gentle with yourself. Be consistent. And if this video helped you, share it with someone you care about. Because the most powerful prevention doesn't always come from medicine. Sometimes it starts with a conversation. Take care of your brain. It's done a lot for you. Now it's your turn.